Good morning, friends. Steve here. And interesting times that we are living in or living through. um, we're going to do a tarot card reading and a healing field. So we'll just start off by stating these words out loud. I connect to my deep self. I connect to my higher self. Connect to my highest self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. I let go of anything not useful to me now. And I choose to work with the Hathors. Now you can say these words along with me if you want to, or just I'll say the words and it will connect us with the event we're going to release and integrate it today. So ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good to release and integrate at this time. And I invite all souls affected by this event to return to the event, release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And ask that we all be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. On arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely on all levels and through all space and time. So that's the healing field. If that's what you're interested in, you can hit the pause button and come back later for the completion of the healing field. And meanwhile, I'm going to continue on with the video in terms of the world tarot card, the card that was picked today in relationship to what's going on in the world, what we're working with. So we got the Eight of Swords. And swords are about the mind. They're about information and communication, knowledge. And the key words for this card are feeling trapped, uncertain, powerless. Feel like we're having a limited perspective and a pessimism and a fear of failure. And then the words are these: that desire to be careful about whom we share with has continued to grow. This desire to be careful. And we find ourselves stuck, unwilling to move in any direction. Everything feels corrupted, traitorous, and we don't know where to go, aren't sure whom or what we can rely on. We may hear advice from people we once trusted, may recognize that others are trying to help us, but our fear is too overwhelming. That paralyzing worry, that trap of our own making, is the frustration of the Eight of Swords. I'm feeling this today, and I have noticed something somewhat, it's not new, but it's becoming exaggerated. So it used to be that I'd be working with some energetics that didn't quite feel mine, but I'd be working with them. And then when I got them somewhat resolved, I'd get a text message from a client asking for a session. And in the session, those energies were what we would end up dealing with. And this has gotten more and more and more, to the point that sometimes at night I'm working so intently in lucid dreams. So I'm awake within the dream, and I'm very aware of the energies I'm working with, and I'm very aware of using my breath to regulate the nerve system to help release these emotional energies that I have been feeling in the dream. And then repeatedly, I get a text message. How soon can I have a session? We get a time. We go into the session. And it's those energies that I worked with in the dream world that I work with in the healing session. So it's becoming fairly magical. It's always been magical, but it seems like it's more magical. And it's also training me how to not identify with the feelings that I'm experiencing. So not fully identify with this, whatever level of tension I'm feeling, whether it's fearfulness or grief and loss or anger, whatever it is. I'm learning how to become an observer of my own experience, which is what I do in a healing session. I observe it. But while I observe it, I also help to release the energies that are surfacing in the field of relationship with the client I'm working with. So I never work directly with the client, and that may sound strange to you, but the client's world is theirs, and it's not the energetic world that I've been trained to work with. I've been trained to work with anything that they give off into the field of relationship. I work with those energies. So I know what those energies are, and I feel them inside myself, and I help ground them within myself. It works very well. And my phone is dinging, so I'm just going to turn the sounds off so I don't hear the dinging, and then you don't hear the dinging, and we aren't all looking to our phones for what's dinging. I think I included this in a recent video I made about the amount of fear that I've been aware of and not lost in for the most part. I mean, I can say that the intensity of the world healing field and the emotions in the world healing field has been as great as it's ever been, as difficult of energies as I've ever felt. And I have periods of real clarity in the midst of working with all those energies. And sometimes I just feel like in the flow of the whole process, like I did in a session last night, where the energies of fear, grief, and anger were so strong. And it was like a landslide of emotions that was coming through. And it went on and on for a while. And I actually felt the physical pain that those emotions can cause. So if we're storing these emotions, even if we're storing them mainly deep inside our spinal column, deep inside our nerve system, our brain and our nerve system, most of these held energies are stored in there. And the vibration of them creates a particular underlying feeling within our system. But when they come to the surface, we can feel it as physical pain. And some people who are so overloaded with these emotional traumas that are unresolved, undigested, They feel this emotional pain continuously in various parts of their body. I mean, the pain can be related to other things as well. If I eat gluten, I get joint aches. And I don't eat much gluten at all for many years. But sometimes there's gluten in things, and I'll notice that I have what I consider an allergic reaction to the gluten, in that my joints feel painful and swell up. And you've seen these people with gnarled hands. That may very well be a gluten intolerance. And I've noticed people who have those gnarled hands and large joints, and they've been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, whatever that is. And I've noticed at times these people eat a lot of crackers. They eat a lot of wheat. And that wheat, the majority of that wheat has been sprayed with glyphosate or Roundup. And that may be causing part of the allergic reaction, because that chemical was meant to cause insects in stomachs to explode. And we have all this stuff going on with people and their intestines, and leaky gut syndrome, where there's actually holes forming in the intestines that are allowing large proteins that shouldn't be able to go through the system, go into the system, causing allergic reactions within the system, inflammatory conditions. So this is one possibility. But the other thing is, in the session that I was doing, I felt more physical pain just running these emotions, grounding these emotions into the earth of fear, grief, and anger. And as I'm talking about it, I'm feeling some of that pain in the shoulders, which is typically fear, in the elbows, which is typically grief, and other locations as well, but that's one of them, the elbows. And the wrists and hands is typically anger. Now, if we let go of that term, because that term is associated with a matrix of thought, a thought form. A matrix of thought is a thought form that these are forms of thought that people can tap into. Oh, this is this, and this is this, and you gotta be afraid, and you gotta go to the doctor, and you got whatever it is, all these thought forms. The thought form is, I have this feeling, it's anger. If we shift it to, I have this feeling, it's awareness, you might notice a difference in how you react, respond, release, integrate, whatever you do with those energies, how different it is when you don't name it from the thought form. You don't name it anger. So now I'm having this feeling. And what is that feeling? I don't need to give it a name. That feeling causes my shoulders to tighten up. That feeling causes my chest to contract. That feeling causes my hands and wrists and ankles and feet to feel tense. That feeling causes me to feel less grounded. And so if I'm willing to just feel those feelings, and really with the thought, like, I am not these feelings, I am the awareness experiencing these feelings. Then, if it's a traumatized part that's releasing, some part of us is holding on to this anger. If we are not holding on to the anger, but we are feeling support for that part of ourself that is and has been holding on to that anger many, many years, we can energetically support that part, feeling that anger, and be in our heart. And with compassion and curiosity and kindness, we can hold a space for that part of ourselves that's holding that anger. And we can say, come, bring that anger to me. I can work with that anger with you through the heart. And bring that anger through the heart, holding that vibration of love, compassion, kindness, curiosity, that anger can release. And you might have just felt it release. If you're staying with this, you might have just felt that release. And then notice a softening of your hands, a relaxation of your wrists, your ankles, your feet, and a feeling like, oh, now I'm grounded. That was one emotion. And at this event we're back at, there's many emotions. I'm going to name them to unname them. So let's go with fear. I'm having a lot of fun right now. So let's go with fear. So when we feel the fear of that event, so it's coming up for us to release and integrate, digest, and ground those energies. When you are feeling that fear, where are you feeling it? I'm going to describe it, but I'm going to describe it first as fear, as the thought form of fear. This energy is fear. And I'm going to say, oh, do you notice in the shoulders that fight or flight energy? Maybe in the base of your skull or in your jawbone, ready to do battle or to flee or to freeze. And then freeze, feel that. And then the lower part of the rib cage, towards the back, the lowest part of the ribs, the area related to the adrenals, the small intestine, and the kidneys, all related to fear. And you feel that frozen fear. And then in the hips, that frozen fear. Now we're describing it as a fear because we're going to change that. So that's it related to the matrix of fear, the thought form of fear that's in the world. So right now we're going to do an exercise and you're going to state out loud, I disconnect from the matrix of fear surrounding the planet. And notice if you feel different after having done that, which you probably will. It's a really good exercise, and for me it works every time. And now we're going to go a little further than that. We're going to go, I am unnaming this as fear. I'm unnaming it. I am feeling sensations in my body that seem related to vibrations that may have something to do with emotions. Notice how much easier it is to work with those energies when you've disconnected from the matrix of fear surrounding the planet, and when you've unnamed that emotion as fear, you've unnamed it, and now it's just energy. And then notice how your shoulders feel. If they've changed. If they haven't changed, okay. But if they've changed, and you're still working with those energies, you're just not working with them as fear, you're working with them as energies releasing and integrating in your body. And notice the base of your skull. Does it feel different? One thing that happens when you're releasing what we formerly called fear and are now calling energy, trapped energy that's untrapping itself, then notice the jaw. One thing that happens When the energy formerly known as fear starts releasing, we tend to yawn a lot. And if you can keep yawning and just let yourself keep yawning, within 20 minutes, the majority of that energy formerly known as fear will have released. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I mean, not that we have that kind of time all day or that where you could be just sitting at your computer at work. If you work at a computer, probably not if you're watching this video, but if you do, you're working at the computer and you can just be going, oh, 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 type, type, type. Notice the lower rib cage. Notice where there was tension there. Is there tension there now? Notice your hips. Is there tightness there now? Or has that energy released? Do your legs feel tingly? Your upper and lower legs and feet feel tingly? Do your upper arms, forearms, and hands feel tingly? That is that energy moving. First, disconnect from the matrix. Second, unname it. And third, identify it as energy that you're feeling and just notice it releasing and integrating and digesting. And then notice yourself now grounded, grounding into the healing center of the earth. Okay, so we did anger, what was formerly known as anger, what was formerly known as fear, and now what we're going to work with is what will soon be formerly known as grief. So we're going to notice we've gotten the event we've gone back to, we've got a very much less energy there. So now we're going to work with the grief and loss energy of that event. And we're going to notice what we're noticing in the body. So just notice what you notice. Just go inside your body, kind of scan your body, and notice anything that you might notice. And I'm just going to describe what I notice as you're noticing what you're noticing, but you may notice similar things to me. So I notice a feeling of numbness across my forehead. I notice a little bit of discomfort in my ears and a little bit of tension in my eyes and a little bit of contraction in my throat. A little bit of a tightness in my chest, in my lungs. And you might notice the elbows and you might notice the knees. These are all related to this energy referred to as grief. So we're going to state out loud, notice all those feelings, be noticing them and notice if they change. I disconnect from the matrix of grief surrounding the planet. Notice if it changes any of those areas: eyes, ears, forehead, throat, lungs, elbows, knees. Notice if those changed. And then notice how they are right now. And then we're going to do this next piece, which is I unname these sensations as fear. I unname them. And now I just feel them as sensations. And once again, notice what happens. Notice if there's a change here, a change here, a change in the eyes, change in the throat, change in the lungs, change in the elbows, a change in the knees. Now we're feeling even more energy moving. So just be aware of the energy moving. Okay. Now I'm going to take us back to the book because there's a little bit more information in here that might be useful. This is a tarot card, the Eight of Swords, related to the mind, associated with the mind. And it says, fear has a way of choking everything else out. When we don't take the advice offered by the Seven of Swords, instead of doubling down on our doubts and avoidance and hesitation, we can find ourselves in a dark and confusing place. The Eight of Swords explores what happens when we deliberately ignore the storm that's been brewing. In spite of the clouds and the hail and the strong destructive winds, this sometimes manifests as dismissing help, not wanting to burden anyone else, or believing that we aren't worthy of assistance. And when we are caught in this kind of intellectual trap, when we don't know how to access support, it can feel that we're completely out of options. Now these are the words, so I'm going to read them. The shitty thing about this card is that it depends on a warped or overly harsh personal narrative and rarely reflects our actual circumstances. What we think we know is not the truth. Remember that eights are about power, but when we feel that we have none, it can stop us dead in our tracks. With the Eight of Swords, we believe that we have no options, that failure is imminent. Anybody had that feeling? Failure is imminent? That solutions are impossible. We're so caught up in the potential dangers that we can't take strides to avoid them. Are so paralyzed by the sound of tornado alarms that we can't make ourselves run to the cellar. It feels safer, easier to just cover our eyes and ears and hope that the storm will pass. Yet this level of denial and avoidance accomplishes nothing. Breathing accomplishes a lot. Anytime when we're triggered from the environment and we feel all of that anxiety, panic arising, or the grief or the anger, all that stuff happens, we can just go, okay, first, breathe. And the longer you make the out breath, the better. Because this takes your nerve system into a more regulated state. And then as your nerve system's more regulated, you will feel more space opening up around you. And in that space is the feeling like, well, I can work with this. And that's all we want to move to, is just that space of feeling I can work with these energies. The solution to the Eight of Swords often lies in addressing our inaccurate beliefs and reclaiming our power over vulnerability. Something that's much easier said than done. But maybe it's not even, I read these words and I understand what Meg Jones-Wall is saying, but reclaiming our power over vulnerability, I would say better use of words is reclaiming our power within vulnerability. So we're not shutting down that vulnerable part and saying, we're not paying attention to you. You feel vulnerable, we don't care. That's not a community. The community is, come, bring your vulnerability. If it's true in you, I am safe. You can come. You can bring this to me, and I will hold it with you. See how that feels for you. A different perspective can make everything much more explicit, but it may require us being honest about our fears and perceptions with someone we trust, and believing them when they offer compassionate, honest advice. Or don't even offer advice, just listen. This card captures the disconnect between what we want to do and what we need to do. But if we can recognize the trap we're caught in, we can also find the key that will grant us freedom. And here she talks about the journal prompt. And I think this is going to be a fairly long video. I'll see if I can't finish it up fairly quickly, but that was a lot of information. So she gives a journal prompt. Where are harsh thoughts taking over? Doubts limiting your creativity? How are you giving up before you've even started? Who can you lean on? Turn to ask for a fresh perspective. What would it take for you to recognize that you are worthy of support? Just consider that in your heart. I am worthy of support. Take it in. Go deep with it if you want. I am worthy of support. That your safety and comfort are worth fighting for, or are worth accepting, are worth allowing experience. And it may take a while, and we may need to practice, but if we just keep breathing and don't shut down, we may at times need to go inside ourselves, which is okay. But when we can, find a safe person that we can let this out to, so that we're letting it outside of ourselves. Just one person is all it takes. And don't let them worry about any overwhelm. And we don't have to dump the whole load in this moment. We can just open it up gently and softly and work with it together. I'm finding it very useful in my practice groups with the Thomas Hubel group. Finding it very useful to have a safe place to just keep opening it up, keep opening it up, keep opening it up. Let it be held in a bigger space, like now. Like you may be just by yourself on your phone or on your computer, but you're with me on your phone, on your computer. This beautiful face is radiating light in your direction. And we are doing the work of the world, alone and together. It's a world healing field. We're working with a world healing field. And we're releasing, integrating, and digesting an unresolved event in that world healing field, and just resolving it. That event we went back to is resolved. So we'll finish this video with these words. You don't have to say them, but you can if you want. I ask the higher self to assist all the souls that return to the event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event, and bring that combined soul back into the body in present time, with all of its wisdom, power, clarity, compassion, curiosity, and kindness, and with love and joy, we ground ourselves into the healing center of the earth and open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies into the earth at this time. And we ask, that the new energies be brought into the earth for the upliftment of the earth and consciousness in general. We ask that these energies be brought in now. Powerful, powerful energies. It's even making the plants move outside. Well, they stopped there for a minute right when I said it, and then they started moving again. And we just bring these energies into the earth, and we activate them. And we let the universe and beyond know that this has been done and that it's good. And that's our healing session, tarot reading, and class for today, Friday the 13th. Who would have guessed? Friday the 13th, a very good day for change. And today is also in the Mayan calendar a red dragon day. And it's about birth of new awareness. And I am a red dragon. So it's our day, all red dragons day, and it's everyone's day. Just kind of a little bit of the energy focus is around the kin of the red dragon, which is one of the 20 kins within the Mayan calendar, the solar kins. So my solar kin is red dragon, and you can go to 13moon.com, and the website will say Dakota date. You put your month, day, and year of birth, hit the decode button, and you'll find out who you are in your solar tone and your lunar tone. So you'll have, like, I'm a red dragon, which is my solar tone, and I'm a red cosmic dragon. Cosmic is my lunar tone. That's it for today. This was really good for me. I hope it serves you right and well. All right. Now I must go, and let's just make a change in the world by allowing change in ourselves. And breathe.